the ones mankind has forgotten. We are the creatures that have gone raving mad. We are the dead spoke of in legend. We are the monsters arriving underneath your bed, resurrected from the centuries gone by. Cenobites traveling through the portals of time. Some hell is gonna raise, and we shall come with it. Forbidden pleasures materialize. We'll torture your body by crushing so many. The puzzle box opens, it brings us new life. Pinhead coming up from the flames, one spraying cotton, but you'll do just the same. He's the one that did from the start, but if your tears will tear your soul apart. Pinhead coming up from the flames, one spraying cotton, but you'll do just the same. He's the one that did from the start, but if your tears will tear your soul apart. Resurrected from the centuries gone by. Cenobites traveling through the portals of time. Some hell is gonna raise, and we shall come with it. Forbidden pleasures materialize. We'll torture your body by crushing so many. The puzzle box opens, it brings us new life. Whoa, whoa. Some hell is gonna raise. Some hell is gonna raise. Some hell is gonna raise. Some hell is gonna raise, oh. Whoa, 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 oh. Happy Monday. Instagram, friends of Instagram. I look like a Cocker Spaniel today. I just noticed that. I washed my hair this morning. Yeah. And conditioned it. And yes, here we go. Now I am Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, the song Metal McIntyre there. By the way, there's a package in the mail for you as of today. Well, tomorrow. It's Memorial Day. Anyway, happy Memorial Day, everybody. Today I remember not only all the people who have put their lives on the line for our freedom, but also I remember being able to go out and do stuff. So today's a Memorial Day for things as well. A little scratchy today. I don't think I have the COVID. I've just been singing a lot here, working on some new material lately. I don't know why I'm talking like the guy from Workaholics right now either. Yeah, it's a good day for hair washing. It is. I have nothing else to do but wash my hair and pick one of 5 t-shirts to wear. Oh, man. So, being that it is Memorial Day, that's partially the reason why we're doing things a little earlier today. I have plans tonight. Look at me. I'm going out on the town for the first time in probably 8.5 weeks. So I'm going out, but I'm staying in. All right. And like, long story short, I'm going to a movie. I'm going to a drive-in tonight. And it's a throwback, a bit of a throwback as well. Yeah, my goodness is correct. Going out on the town tonight. We found a place here in Connecticut, not far, but a good drive's worth of distance, at least during, as per, coronavirus quarantine distance is concerned. I'm going to go see The Goonies. People, how about that? The Goonies. 1984, Dick Donner, Spielberg, boom. One of the best. So yeah, we found out that there is a place playing The Goonies. It was their opening weekend this past weekend. Tickets were like instantly sold out on Friday and Saturday, so figured why not Monday? Maybe we'll beat the crowd. Yeah, dude, who else out there was just seminally, that's a weird word, fundamentally moved by the Goonies besides myself? Yeah, Kevin was going to go see it. Classic indeed. I'm really surprised at how many people are divided down the topic of the Goonies. You know, I mean, I can't say that everyone needs to like the same movie, but there's some movies that just tap into just a universality that we all have as kids. Never-Ending Story is another one of those. I feel like people who tend to like the Goonies more, and I'm probably vastly incorrect on this generalization, but I've noticed if you hung outside as a kid and dug in the dirt and looked for shit, the Goonies was just one of those movies that appealed to you because, you know, buried treasure was always just a shovel scoop deeper, right? One-Eyed Willie. Which, by the way, that's a little tongue-in-cheek there, Richard Donner. 4-year-old, 5-year-old me did not catch the reference for One-Eyed Willie, but much older, we'll put it that way, much less young me gets the reference now. And I think Never-Ending Story, yeah, it may be another one of those. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a country kid, boom, the Goonies. If you were a city kid, New York, Never-Ending Story. I mean, that was set in New York City, right? Magic could happen anywhere in 1984. I loved those movies, man. I was going to go see the Goonies at the theater when it came out. However, I don't know the circumstances as to why I didn't go, but I wasn't able. I did see the Gremlins in the theaters. I did see Top Gun. Yeah. I remember being moved by Top Gun, right? Like the planes flying and Kenny Loggins and all that stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I don't know how planes do what they do, but one day I'm going to figure it out. And I never did. Stand By Me is another one. I saw that one in the theaters as well. I had to kick and scream for that one, but I got to go see it. Yeah, someone says I just only got it and I'm a grown adult. Yeah, man, those go back to the movie written days for me. AJ Lopez was moved by the volleyball scene. Hey, man, the heart wants what it wants. Deanna says that's why those movies are funny, because you can see them as you get older and pick up different things. Exactly, One-Eyed Willie. But, you know, I think that's what, I don't know, there's some movies like The Goonies that, again, and there are many, many more out there, but I did not see The Lost Boys in the theaters. My brother saw it, and he just completely rubbed it in. He was much older than me. But my little diatribe about movies is, you know, I was thinking about this. One of my best friends, Johnny Ott from the Crypt Keeper 5, he just had twins this past weekend, all right? And for you guys out there who are asking who today's guest is, you're looking at him, it's me. It was going to be Johnny, but obviously Johnny has both of his hands full with twins right now. So everybody send Johnny Ott from Crypt Keeper 5 a congratulations later for the birth of his twins, Molly and Frankie. But yeah, no, so there's a lot of movies out there that it's like when you get older, do you know what I'm saying? Like they kind of lose their charm. But when we're all born, we're all the same. Do you know what I mean? Like you can watch kids and see their reactions to the simplest things and realize that we were all there no matter how cool we are now. You know, there's a point in time where somebody gave you like a crayon or a crayon for all my other colloquialism friends out there. You know, that was it, man. There was wonder in that. And I've always wondered, like, what happens to people? Why we all lose that? You know what I mean? Because when you're born, that is what it is. You know what I mean? You were born into yourself and your being. And not to get all hippie on you guys, but, you know, there comes a point, you know, and it goes into so many other offshoots of like philosophy. We won't get on to that today. But where does it go? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's really sad that you have to hit a point in your life where you're pessimistic. You know what I mean? And that's good to a degree. Because, who wants to go around just like laughing at, like bubbles their entire life? I mean, you need a little more, right? But it just seems like there's so much less of that as you get older. And when I see the Goonies, when I see the Lost Boys, when I see Stand By Me, someone had pointed out, that's a good one. It's just like a reset button. It takes you back. It puts you in frames of mind that are taken from you. You know what I mean? We blame ourselves a lot of time for the things that we lose. Like, oh, well, I've lost my innocence, or I've lost my ability to do this. And I don't think it's always necessarily our faults, I just think that it's just like the impossibility of being human, if I may quote Charles Bukowski. But I think that's what makes existence what it is. That's how we get art. That's how we get poetry, is all of that longing, right? So anyway, all that, Psych 101 aside, I'm going to go see the Goonies tonight. So this is going to be a very specially early episode. Yeah, and I will be sure to send you guys pics from, the Goondocks tonight. Anyway, I'm very glad you guys are here, though. Thank you so much. I know it was last minute. A lot going on this weekend. As I said, my buddy Johnny, I just had kids, all kinds of stuff. I've been working on some things behind the scenes, parallel to, what I'm doing here with you guys each week, that I'm excited to explain and drop on you soon. So, I'm sorry, Liam, I depressed some people. There's no reason to be depressed, man, as long as you remember who you are, right? It's there. You just got to find your Goonies, man. It's certain things, like for me to jump back into this, there's certain, it's like anything. It's like sensory, you know what I mean? You can smell something like a burning fire, and that may take you back to a certain time. Whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, we're lucky we have those. Memory is a weird thing, we're just messengers of memory. If I may quote Greg Graffin on that one. I'm all full of quotes today. Oh, yeah. So the Goonies, man. I'm just going to assume everybody out there likes the Goonies. So we'll talk a little bit about that for a moment, a little bit longer. I have tried to go to that house numerous times when I've been on tour. Blitzkid, even Roving Midnight. And just cannot, for whatever reason, get to Astoria. And I hear that even if you can, the person who owns the house now, and when I speak of the house, I speak of Mikey's house, they're somewhat reticent about people. I hear they go even beyond that, and they're somewhat, aggressive towards interlopers. So yeah, view at your own risk. I'll go one day. So, yeah. Someone says, next stop, Grumpy Grandpa. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm doing good, though. I'm really happy to see you guys again. I think we're on week 8 or 9 of these shows now. I'm having just as much fun as I have had the entire time. Hopefully you guys have been, too, as well. But anyway, I'm going to have to keep it somewhat short today, just because we have a little bit of a drive to do. So I am going to play a little bit more music for you, in lieu of guests, and we'll just go from there. And we are going to talk about Eyes Without a Face, Les Yeux Sans Visage, from last week as well. Okay, so, all right, so check it out, you guys. I was just fooling around with this before I came on Camry here. I haven't played this. I don't think Blitzkid. We maybe played this once or twice. It's certainly not a song that is really associated with our catalog. So it was like a last minute addition. And I'll give you a quick backstory to it so you kind of understand how it came into being. So the song is called Unearthed. And if you guys have the Blitzkid split with the band The Spook from Germany from 2004, entitled Every Day is Halloween, this song was on there. So what had happened was, around 2003, Blitzkid were invited by a really good friend of mine who was from my hometown, and he had moved to Tennessee in the Pigeon Forge area, if there are any Tennesseans out there. And he was kind of like, hanging out with a bunch of kids and people of like mind and ilk. And some of these kids were in bands, right? He was telling them about Blitz Kid. He's like, well, where I'm from, there's a band called Blitz Kid, and you should check them out. And it's still kind of like garage band. It really wasn't quite, just pop on Spotify and check it out. So, it really wasn't an effective way to introduce people to your band. Like just check them out. You either had to have a CD or like, here, listen to this. So he started working to get us up there to play a show. And it just so happened that the high school in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, were having a battle of the bands that year. Again, this is 2003. So my friend, his name's Sadrin, called me and said, listen, there is a battle of the bands, and some of these bands that I know are playing in it, they're in high school. I don't think that there is any rules or regulations as to who can play. I'll enter you guys in if you want to play it. So we said, sure, why not? And I don't know if they did the research. Clearly they didn't, because we got accepted into a high school battle of the bands that we had nothing to do with. We're for all intents and purposes, grown men. We get there, fast forwarding, and we're standing out in the hallway of this thing. And just to interject into the comedy, there were other bands once we got there that we realized were, it wasn't necessarily relegated to high school. There were some other bands there that were, not in high school. So it wasn't entirely like the scene in Step Brothers where we were just decimating everybody on the playground with instruments, right? So we're standing out in the hallway, man, and we have our makeup on. Yes, full makeup, deep dead. And, this is 2003. I mean, even now, if you do full makeup, even if you do it good, like I would like to think that we do and did, it still creates and attracts a bit of consternation from people, a little bit of snickers and burr, burr, burr. And what we got was, hey, who let Slipknot in? And it's like, dude, like, I'm not a fan of Slipknot. I mean, full disclosure, but like, they don't suck. So it's like, I always found it interesting, like the derision that bands like us would get, where it was like, oh, Slipknot's in the house, or, who let, whatever, the Monsters in. And I'm like, thanks. So we just looked at it this way. We're going to throw this thing. We're going to go up here on stage. We don't care if we win. We're really here to hang out with our buddy. We're going to go on stage, and we're going to absolutely, by definition, destroy this stage. Okay? And that is exactly what we did. And when I say destroy the stage, we destroyed the stage. We had 2 songs to play. We did Pumpkin Patch Murders, and I can't remember the other one. I wish TB was here to help me out with this. But when we got up there, literally, like, I just took my bass off and just threw it down on the ground, which wasn't uncommon for me if you guys have seen us live. But TB was just full on, like, bull stomping around the stage. We were pulling down the lights. We just were tipping over every mic stand in our path. And then it culminated with just destroying the drum kit, like absolutely destroying it, punching holes through the heads. And our drummer, I'll never forget this, Ray M., he was so worked up, right, in all of his 19 years of exuberance. And we're kind of like, no, rein it in. And he's just like, you could see it gone, right? He takes the snare and hurls it into the crowd. And it was just like one of those moments, man, in Braveheart with the swords flying through the air. And we were just like, lawsuit, right? Everyone cleared. And we won, man. We bleeping won the Battle of the Bands in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We were completely the dark horse that day. No pun intended. We were the upsetters. They could not believe it. Everyone that stood outside and just talked shit were just hanging their heads, and like, we got beat by Slipknot and all that fun stuff. But how this ties into the song was, unbeknownst to us, the grand prize was we had studio time at a local studio in Pigeon Forge to record 2 songs. So this was coinciding around the time that we signed with Fiend Force in Germany, our first real excursion into, label land. and talks were already afoot about bringing Blitzkid over for our first European tour, which happened in 2004. So, it was already at some point established we would go on tour with this band, The Spook, whom I mentioned earlier. And it was suggested to us that we do like a vinyl split. So we took our meager 2-song Winning and went into this studio. I do not remember the name of it. And we recorded 2 songs. We recorded Sammy Gone Wrong again, because we'd been playing an old Blitzkid song called Sammy Gone Wrong more recently at that point in time, and we had changed it a little bit, so we just called it Sammy Gone Wrong again. And the next song was called Unearthed, and it's a song that I had written. It really wasn't anything that was really structured yet, but we just wanted to have something to fill up, I think, the space on our side of the vinyl. Not to take away from the song, but it just never was anything that we, I think, took stock in. But now, for me, I mean, like, this is almost like 15 plus years later, I hear that song more often, and like, I like it. Like, it's one of those things where I think that, I want to play it more, be it in Roving Midnight or, Blitzkid when we go back out on our Rain Check tour when that happens. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Alex. We did throw the snare. Kids, man, what can you say? I'm just kidding. That was Ray M, man. He was so dedicated. And if he's out there right now listening, Troy, Ray M, that dude, when he joined our band, was hands down one of the most active players in terms of like what we did aesthetically. When he joined the band, he's like, we're going to call you Ray M, kind of like the comet that throws all the machines into a fury in Maximum Overdrive, just because he was, crazy drummer. And he, when he started, his clothing, he buried it. Oh, I'll never forget that. He showed up to our one of our first shows in Princeton. If anyone from the Princeton Rec Center is still out there, he showed up wet. I'm like, why are you wet? And he's like, I buried my clothes in the backyard last week, and I left them there all week until today, and I just dug them up. And if you ever see pictures of this guy, man, like, straight up, like, he was in it to win it. All right, so I don't play this often. This is probably the first time I've sung it in a while, but I'm going to sing it for you guys. So just bear with me. Power chording it today. As I ponder the color of your blood, the dripping takes a tone much like your voice. Something hits me hard like the knife. Gonna bring you back cause it's my choice. Image of God, His voice I will intone. A little paler, a little lucidate. That's okay, baby, stitch is what you'll do. Kinda like the silence between us. Your voice is sweeter in my head. Your words are slow, they're clear, like songs of old. On earth, we watch them cycle the sky. We ponder the fires on high. I name that star there after you, cause it shines so bright and never moves. Solo. Hum along. On earth, we watch them cycle the sky. We ponder the fires on high. You're cold and I'm warm, should I care? For our love that's been whispered away. Yeah. Oh, honor, 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 And that is Unearthed. Thank you very much. If you guys want to check that out in its more punk rock form, go onto Spotify under the Blitz Kid catalog and look up the album Rarities. And it's on there along with a bunch of other stuff that, weren't really necessarily full-length album material that we accumulated over time, including covers. We have Johnny Cash cover of I Walk the Line that came out for a tribute. There's a Queers cover on there of, I think, Peppermint Girl, I believe. I'm not sure. I think that one may be on YouTube. We got invited to be a part of that compilation, but I don't think it ever materialized. So I'm getting around. All right, cool, man. Bluebirds Over the Mountain. Yeah. That's a good one. Someone had just brought it up here a second ago. I'm going to play one more for you guys, okay? Then we're going to do a little movie talk. Yeah, that is a deep cut, man. Someone had just brought this up. Where did it go? Yes, Peppermint Girl is on YouTube. Someone had mentioned Bluebirds Over the Mountain. So, no, I have not played Lady in the Lake yet, but I will. So, Bluebirds Over the Mountain, that's another cover that we did in Blitz Kid. It was on the Exhuming Graves and Making Dates split with Mr. Monster. It's by Richie Valens, technically, but Ursel Hickey. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ursel Hickey. I mean, it's like one of those names. If you've heard it, you remember it. He was one of these guys who kind of hung out around, that whole crew, the Sun crew. Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, all those guys. But he didn't really necessarily break through, per se, like into the mainstream. But he did kind of make some waves with his version of Bluebirds Over the Mountain, which is really interesting if you listen to it. If you guys check out Ursel Hickey, the meter, it's almost like the picking is... it's not that ska, but it's very bluebirds over the mountain, seagulls over the sea, bluebirds over the mountain, bring my baby to me. Oh boy, yeah, something. So I'm gonna play it for you guys, hopefully better than that. I also discovered that it's also Green Day used this exact same riff for Time of Your Life. I'm on to you, Billy Joe. Just kidding. Bluebirds over the mountain, seagulls over the sea, over the mountain, bring my baby to me. A boy and girl that fell in love, for each it was like heaven above. He looked into her eyes of blue, she vowed to him that she'd be true. Bluebirds over the mountain, seagulls over the sea, bluebirds over the mountain, bring my baby to me. I miss you, can't you see? You're the only one for me. Since you're gone, I'm all alone. Come on, baby, come back home. Bluebirds over the mountain, seagulls over the sea, bluebirds over the mountain, bring my baby to me, 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 bring my baby to me. Short song. So that's Bluebirds Over the Mountain. Check it out. Oh, I'm over here. And now I'm back. Richie Valens and or Ursel Hickey. Very good stuff. A lot of Ursel Hickey stuff's really, really good. Unsung hero right there. A lot of really, really, really good songs by him. So check him out if you're into some deep rockabilly cuts. All right, so before I go, I want to move into movie talk time. last week I had thrown out the assignment of sorry, I dropped something. The assignment is Eyes Without a Face, Les Yeux Sans Visage. So if you guys had a chance to check that out, I really hope you like it, because I know we've been kind of like building up with a lot of film noir and a lot of kind of foreign films in terms of horror goes, but I really think that Eyes Without a Face may be one of like the best in terms of like horror nouveau for that period of time. France really didn't have a modern horror movie at that time. Not really. Do you know what I mean? Like Diabolique and stuff like that had been a little prior, but it's not really horror. And going into that movie, they had a lot of, I guess, like obstacles to overcome with censors. Namely, the mad scientist angle. The German censors were not going to be cool with that. The animal vivisections and things like that. For some reason, the English censors were, not for some reason, but for some reason, just the English censors were mainly honed in on that. And then with the French censors, like all the other stuff, like, kidnapping and things like that. So, yeah, before I go any further, I'm glad you guys are bringing up the music. The music for that movie is incredible. There are two, I guess, like primary themes in that I think are just amazing. One is Christiane's theme, the kind of real somber theme, and the other one is that more carnival-esque kind of waltzy theme from the very I think at the beginning of the movie. So it's great. They had to make a lot of changes to make this happen. Largely they had to downplay the angle of mad science, which was an issue at that point in time with the censors in Europe. It was a big thing, though, a big no-no. So yeah, they more or less kind of moved the story, because it was a story. They moved it to Christiane's point of view and tried to keep her father, the professor, a little more sympathetic as much as they could. For instance, the scene where he helps the little kid, if you guys remember that scene. But one thing that I really love about this movie, besides the story and just it being awesome, is all of just the sounds and the sound effects. If you just listen to it, if you watch it again, whoever was in charge, and I don't know, but whoever was in charge for all the sound engineering in it besides the music, all the like heavy doors, all the reverberations, the dogs constantly barking. It was just like a whole tapestry of like unease through the whole thing. That black and white, honestly, just really just smoothed out. It's just a beautiful movie. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch it last week or this week, whatever, check it out for real. Any comments on Eyes Without a Face? Besides, I know we talked about the music. Internet is a crap. I agree with you, my man. Off topic, but I'm with you. Yeah, the carnival music, again, super creepy. I think I messed a few up here. And we have that movie to thank for the quintessential Billy Idol tune of the same title, Eyes Without a Face. You guys have to know that song. That's one of the coolest songs ever. Throwing that out there. The bass line, like, that's one of the first bass lines I made myself learn. It's very, like, it's not like the Ramones, not to discredit the Ramones, but, when you're learning, it's just like, I'm going to play this note 4 times. I'm going to play this note 4 times. It's very, it's an all in timing and structure. The bass in that song and a lot of the instruments in that song are very minimalistic. It's almost like reggae in the sense that, it may come in on the 2 and then there might be something out for the 3 and the 4 and it'll drop back in. So that was always a good exercise in terms of timing for me. Playing bass was that one. And you get to hear Billy Idol say Gigolo Pool. Boost a car, drive to Las Vegas. Ooh, the Gigolo Pool. Whatever the hell that means. Alex is trying to write an entire album about creepy carnivals. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly, man. And King Diamond. There's what are they? A Midnight Syndicate. Really, really great guys. I have a chance to meet them at a couple of conventions and hang out somewhat and become acquainted with. But Midnight Syndicate do a lot of really, really good instrumental creepy music. So shout out Midnight Syndicate. out there. They did one called, oh God, what is it called? I don't know the technical name of it, of the album. It's all Universal music. So everything from, Dracula to Werewolf of London, like some deep cuts like that. So check them out. Plate Glass Eyes Without a Face says, I haven't watched your episode since the second one, since I've been working. We'll check out the movie. Definitely check it out. And also, if you want to check out more of these episodes, I've been uploading them up on YouTube. And if you guys, shameless plug, if you want to go to YouTube, it's / hold on, I gotta get a little emphatic for the / ACWNNPROD. So that's just a really annoying way to say a corpse with no name productions. So go on there, and they're all there. I've had a couple people asking if the one with Gozer from Crimson Ghosts, as well as Noah from Shadow Windhawk last week, are going to be up. Yes. It's just that Instagram has now allowed stories to be moved to TV, so I have to find the plugin to download it and make the files go in the computer. So, yep. Exactly. I just did something to the screen. Can you guys still see me? I'm sorry either way, if you can or can't. Finally played Nosferatu. Oh, dude, Deanna, man. Let's do it. Whenever we get into town, man, I'm telling you, you're coming up. You got to throw some bows, get up there. So for everyone out there, like, it's always been kind of customary for Blitzkid to allow people to come up and, I don't say allow, but, just bring people up to play Nosferatu with us. I don't know how it started, but it's always just a good way to end the show. I think we ended that song. It became customary as well for us to end that song instead of 4 beats, like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we did 86 of them one time in New Jersey. I think we literally hit the last beat 86 times. So we'll see if we can up that ante on the next tour. Speaking of tour, again, I'm really excited to see you guys. I know I was talking to TV, Benny, Chris White. We're all super jazzed to get out there. So, don't lose the dream. Don't stop believing. We're going to be out there. So as far as we know, October, if the world does not reset in time, then we will make it for as soon as possible. There will be no haste made in the Escape the Grave tour. So we will escape. We're going to call it the Escape the House tour. I think we're going to change it. We're just going to X all the merch out and put home, house, whatever. Let's see, I'll follow you, YouTube. Thank you very much. Spread the word. I'm behind here. Sorry, you guys. Monsters of Legend. Thank you, Thomas. That's the Midnight Syndicate. That's a great album. They have a lot of really good albums. Deanna's like, So, who's the kid in Chicago that always played Nosferatu with you guys? Man, I don't know. It could have been, your guess is as good as mine, man. It was whoever. I mean, there were times we were like, hey, and the kids' grandpas would come up and play. Like, you didn't have to know how to play bass to play Nosferatu either. That was the thing. That was part of the beauty of it. That became like the performance art of it was, finding the drunkest person who was the most willing, generally, like, I'll play the song, and they come up and they're just hammered away. And like, I always looked at it, and we always looked at it as a way to keep us on our toes. It's almost like, you think of the military and you have your training courses, you're going running through your obstacles. That was our obstacles. Like, give yourself the opportunity to be thrust into a situation where you can absolutely crash dive on stage and everything can fall apart, because that's how I don't say that's how you get good, but you lose the jitters and like stuff like that. But just bringing people up to play bass, and we followed them, you just kind of keeps you on your toes. And that was always fun for us. But speaking of military operations, I just gave myself like a perfect segue into this next thing. Accordion. Yeah, I've been, again, just like the banjo that has now disappeared because it needs work, the accordion needs work. They don't take getting thrown around as well as some of the better made instruments, as you see back here. Shout out Iron Lung Guitars. I would cover a face-to-face song on here, I would. Absolutely. Love Face to Face. We toured with those guys back in 2011, 10. Shameless plug, I know, but the way that happened, people have asked me, and I haven't forgot my segue, but people have asked me, they're like, how did you guys end up on tour with Face to Face? One, again, Face to Face is the auditory equivalent of the Goonies. You know, if you were here earlier when we began this episode, it was one of those things where it's always been, like a receptacle of time that I can plug into, and I hear that is always better than anything around it. And I wrote Trevor Keith. I wrote him. I wrote him probably. I remember him saying like I really appreciate this email. Don't take offense that I'm not going to reply to every point that you've made, but thank you. You know, because I had sincerely wrote him the equivalent of probably like a 10-page letter on Facebook, which makes it even more, trivial to read if, you're sitting there trying to read it on your phone. And it just so happened that Blitz Kid were about to go on tour at that time. And I had invited him. I was like, he got back to me. He was like, I'm in Tennessee now. He was living in Nashville. And we were getting ready to go on tour with the Necromantics. We played The End. And I invited him out. He came out. We talked. And told us that they were recording a new album. And told us that they were going to be going on tour subsequently. So I just, as meagerly and casually as I could, raised my hand and said, listen, it would be an honor. And they invited us. So that's how that happened. The Monsters theme song, I've never tried. Deanna lost both of her shoes in the pit. Asked TB, he was right there. And it was like, where'd your shoes go? That's it. Are we still talking about Yoo-Hoo? That was last week. Man, I just opened the Yoo-Hoo portal last week, man. I'm glad you guys are still talking about it, though. You're welcome, Yoo-Hoo. So my segue, I was talking about military operations. I want to jump really quickly into this week's movie, which has to do with a group of British Special Forces units, a team, maybe even, who are assigned to a strategic mission, training mission, on one of the Outer Hebrides Islands of Scotland. Okay. Oh, damn it. Took it. I was going to ask. And when they get there, they notice that this curiously uninhabited island is bereft with evidence of habitation. But where is everybody? Right? You got to watch and find out. I will say, once night falls and the moon does its arc across the sky, the inhabitants reveal themselves. And we've already got, I was going to say, does anyone know who it is? That's it. Dog Soldiers, 2002. I'm not a snob when it comes to movies, straight up. I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like. But I don't necessarily exclude things based on my preferences. That being said, the year 2002, which is when Dog Soldiers was out, really didn't yield a lot of movies that I remember from this, genre of horror. There really honestly hasn't been many werewolf movies in a very, very long time that has elicited any real resonance, I guess, with me in a very, very long time either. There are a lot out. I know people are going to say the movie Where and all that stuff. I need to catch up, I know. But Dog Soldiers is one of those ones that just raised the bar for werewolf movies. It's incredible. Werewolf movies tend to go two ways, either really, really good or really, really bad. So they did a great job with this. And I think you guys will like it. Even if you're not aficionados of werewolves, the vibe of the movie. If you guys remember Twilight Zone, if any of you guys have ever watched Twilight Zone, and I'm sure many of you have, the name of the episode is escaping me right now, which sucks because I know most of them. The one where Agnes Moorehead, I believe it is, from Bewitched, is fighting the invaders. I think it's called Invaders. It's got a lot of that tension in it, where it's you're inside, something's outside, something's trying to get inside. Where is it? So And Liam Williams brings up a good point. Don't give any spoilers away, but they are huge. They're and it's amazing. I love Rick Baker and his Werewolf, American Werewolf of London. Again, like that to me is the quintessential granddaddy of all modern. I know it's not necessarily modern now werewolf movies, but when you think that there's movies, like Wolf's Blood, which are like silent movies. Do you know what I mean? Like werewolves have been in film for a long time. So I consider anything like in the 80s to where we are now modern. That one was an amazing one. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Pretty sure it was Invaders. Dog Soldiers, someone was asking. Not to be confused with the battalion of Cheyenne warriors that regimented to push out the English occupation and westward expansion during Manifest Destiny. If you guys want to pick up a book, that's a good one. I don't mean to be condescending. That sounded really condescending, but really good story. Dog soldiers were actually real people in the Cheyenne Nation. They were brutal by necessitation. But if you even Google images of them, like straight up fearful, you wouldn't want to encounter one of these guys. So I think that's about it. Yeah. No, we can't be talking about people punching anything. Not yet. All right, man. So I'm sorry. I'm just like reading some of these comments for a minute. Someone was asking, what was the experience to play with Doyle? It was great. I was invited into that whole situation. I never pursued it, so I never really had any pretense of what to expect or how I should do things. I got invited to play. At that time, Doyle, not that he isn't now, but I haven't honestly spoken to him in a very long time, but at the time, he was living out in Las Vegas. And this was long after the Misfits split with him. And it was great. I mean, honestly, it was one of the situations I've told people, it's like being in a band with Santa Claus. You know what I mean? I'd stand on stage and, Chud would be on drums and Doyle would be on guitar and just like, this is crazy. It's like Groovy Ghoulies or like Santa Claus. That's the best way I can describe it. So, there was a second Dog Soldiers, I believe. I haven't seen it yet. Probably under the same pretenses that I haven't seen, like follow-ups to The Lost Boys. I just sit here and said that I don't exclude movies, but like once I find a movie that is just like the Rosetta Stone of like, just childhood and yes, this is awesome, I try not to profane it. So we don't need a full-blown made-up Goolsby monster movie review style. Yeah, I mean, here's another thing I've been thinking about. And that doesn't mean that I won't do this either, because I will invariably keep doing these weekly casts as long as you guys are here. But I'm thinking about doing a podcast. And I know that seems to be like, the vogue at the moment. But I know that there's a lot of stuff that we talk about on here that probably a lot of you guys are just like, please shut up. Just play some music, right? So I've been trying to find ways to, compartmentalize what I do while I'm on here. And not completely eliminate, talk, discussion, things like that. But I've been thinking about doing a podcast just strictly for movies and things like that. So, we can sit and talk for a very long time. And the people who want to hear music can hear music. You know what I'm saying? And I'll do music there too. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Just let me know, in the comments if that's something you guys would be interested in. Give me some suggestions. I have some ideas that I want to work on that, I've already kind of fleshed out a bit. So, yeah. And we'll film it too. I can do it in full monster makeup. I'll have guests. I'll do all that. So, when we can get in the same room again. Someone asked, have you worked with Jerry Only before? No. I met him. And then I think he thought he met me once, but it's too much. All right, cool. I will definitely do that. Well, listen, I'm going to hop off of here, you guys, because the Goondocks await. And I got to go play my B flat. Otherwise, we'll all be flat. You guys caught that reference? David Calabrese, man. Look at him. His radar. It's up. Bing! Podcast. He heard it. He heard it. Somebody shined the podcast sign up in the sky. And down came David Calabrese. Don't even encourage me Mr. David Calabrese, because I'm going to be asking you for a lot of setup advice and questions. Yeah, I do plan to keep doing these live Instagrams when the pandemic is over. What I look forward to doing primarily is, well, not primarily, but in addendum to this is, when we're on tour, it's going to be awesome, because invariably Blitzkid's going to be on tour on Monday nights, so we'll be able to do that with you guys. But yeah, no, thank you very much. Hopefully, I'm hoping that the uncut scene of the Goonies, or the uncut version of the Goonies, are going to play tonight. Because if any of you guys out there know the Goonies, then you know that it took me a while to figure this out, but only Disney has the rights to all the footage of, the kids inside the store, and there's a scene where Troy, the bad guy, the local baddie, rolls up the map and lights up like a doobage, and but most emphatically is the octopus scene. There's a scene with the octopus, and when I was a kid, I thought I imagined it, because when you rented it, it was on there. When you saw it on TV, it wasn't. Like TBS wasn't on there. None of that stuff. And yes, it is super cheesy, I realize it, but if you're like a octophile, as I am, I have 5 octopus tattoos. Look at me. That's me pushing my glasses up. That's a big deal. But I was gaslighted by Disney for like the first half of my life, because I swore that there was a scene with an octopus, and every one of my peers were like, no, there wasn't. And I'm like, you guys just didn't get Disney Channel, did you? So that's why sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. So I'm hoping they have the director's cut tonight. And yep. I don't know what TikTok is. I figured out what an iPad was 2 years ago, okay? And this is the fruits of my labor 2 years later. So TikTok won't even be a thing by the time Grandpa Goolsby figures it out. I'm sorry. But I will go. If you're there, I'll find you. Yeah, all right, guys. So I'll see you next week. Dog Soldiers, thanks for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. If you guys want to go to our store, it's in the link, my bio link on my page. Pick up a shirt. Full disclosure, full warning right now, the warehouse is behind on shipping. If you guys have outstanding orders, it's 17 to 23 days right now. I do apologize. So if you do order a shirt, full disclosure, it may take up to 23 days to get there right now. COVID is just pummeling nearly everything out there in terms of logistics, and we've fallen into that. But it will get better. It's not normally like this. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Have a great night. Happy Memorial Day. And yeah, Goonies never say die. Bye. Goonies never say bye.